Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments on YouTube. So we're going to have a discussion on the record-breaking sale of the first edition base Pokemon booster box that was auctioned through Heritage this month, September 2020, and sold for a record sum of $198,000. Now, a lot of you people have been emailing me. You've been asking my thoughts on this particular sale and my views on the Pokemon marketplace, the Magic the Gathering marketplace, the collectibles marketplace in general, even the vintage video game marketplace have not changed. The market at present time for a lot of this stuff, especially on the pop culture side of the trade, is very, very speculative, and in some cases, it's overvalued. I have always told you guys to be careful when you're attempting to analyze pop culture collectibles for the long term, because the barrier to entry to start collecting and buying those items is quite low. Anybody out there with a bank account, a credit card, who's registered on eBay, Heritage, Hakes, Comic Link, Certified Link, they can go after these items with ease, especially now with the proliferation of third-party grading. Now, to be fair, the Pokemon booster box that sold for a record-breaking sum, $198,000 at last count, is a little bit of an outlier here, and let me explain why. Right now, we are dealing with unprecedented times, not only in the U.S. economy, but in the world at large. We just were ravaged by a pandemic, which is still going strong. Let me remind all of you out there, a vaccine has yet to be created. We have not eradicated COVID from the planet in any means. That being said, you have to understand that Wall Street is still trying to recover from the pandemic as best it could. And we also have the Fed that's been pretty much pumping money into the markets to ensure liquidity, to ensure that we do have some level of inflation, because you do not want deflation. Deflation can just be as bad as inflation. Look that up if you don't believe me. There's been many research topics done on the wonderful discussion in economics and finance of deflation versus inflation and monetary policy. I'm not going to go into that in this video. I'm trying to keep this very simple and basic. But just understand that there's a lot of actions that have been taken by central banks, by the Fed, by governments that are causing certain asset classes to enter bubble territory. Now, you guys know this. I love investing in mutual funds, index-based funds, stocks, bonds, and the like. I'm not telling you to avoid that asset class, because pretty much at present time, every other asset class is also headed towards or near bubble territory. Whether we're talking real estate, whether we're talking gold, silver, crypto, even collectibles, antiques, antiquities, and art are all soaring in value at present time. There is a very interesting disconnect between the have-nots and the haves, and it is creating chaos in the market. You know, guys, let me drop a statistic on you. Roughly only 52% of the U.S. population owns stocks, owns mutual funds, owns some type of financial-based asset. 52%, that's it. There's people that accuse me of being part of the dead state, that are creating this channel just to prop up the value of stocks. I have to laugh. If I would ever show you guys some of the comments that I get caught in the spam filter of my YouTube channel, maybe I should do a video on that. It would be quite hilarious. Some of you guys would have fun with that, as to how certain people out there view me coming on this channel and talking about collectibles from a financial standpoint. Well, going back to the Pokemon booster box, you got to understand that right now there is a lot of Instagram, social media influencers that are getting involved in sports cards. I really don't want to name them, but I'm going to. You have Gary V, you have Logan Paul, you have other people that are going on channels where they have millions of followers, and they're telling these followers, hey, I just spent $60,000 on Pokemon cards, or I'm invested in sports cards, and I really think that this market has legs. This is what I'm investing in. This is how you can make money in this market. And unfortunately, the average person out there falls for a lot of these misleading videos, these misleading headlines, and they sit there and they go, you know what? I would like to get involved in that market because obviously that person is making a ton of money in that particular market. When ironically, that's not always the case, guys. Most of the people that get into these markets, they are already financially established. They have the money and means to play in these markets. So you really have to use caution. It's just like some of you out there that hate me and you talk about me nonstop on Facebook collecting groups and you think I'm completely out of touch with pop culture-based collectibles because all these wealthy doctors, dentists, lawyers, businessmen, they're going after great at video games. What you don't understand is they're market makers or market manipulators. You yourself sitting out there, maybe you have a net worth of $100,000. Maybe you are trending up. You're a young professional, you're 30, you're 40, you're feeling comfortable, you're confident, you're starting to make some money. Be careful who you listen to in the antiques and collectibles trade. Now, on the other end of that spectrum, I continue to believe that the collectibles marketplace is going to be caught up in a speculative bubble for some time. It could last a decade or more. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. When this same circumstance occurred back in the 1980s, we had graded coins and we had antiques soaring in value. That literally lasted. The bubble in those markets lasted anywhere from 7 to 15 years. That's another thing that I do want to bring up. A lot of you guys attack me in the comment section. You say, Sean, the speculative bubble for Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, vintage comic books, vintage video games, it's been going strong now for many years. Rest assured, there's going to be an inflection point sometime in the next 5, 10, 15 years. Could be 6 months, could be 15 years from now. And those markets are going to start to reverse. I do my best to provide you guys with all the pros and cons of investing in collectibles, antiques, non-traditional assets on this particular channel. Some of you guys appreciate the content that I produce. Other you guys watch it but are doubtful of the content that I produce. I am telling you, all these markets pretty much are either linear or cyclical. Right now, I'm going after a lot of valuable coins on heritage auctions. Matter of fact, I'm bidding in their current coin auction right now. I can tell you, I am encountering severe resistance in some of these coins that I could have had last year for $3,000 to $5,000. Now these same coins are selling for $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. You can't tell me that these coins that I could have had for $3,000 to $5,000 less than a year later, they're suddenly worth $7,000 to $10,000. No market works that way. Going back to the Pokemon example, whenever you have a Pokemon booster box that goes from $90,000 and suddenly sells for $198,000, that should give the average person out there who's thinking of investing in these markets, especially if he sees himself as a sophisticated investor, that should give that person pause. There is a problem there, guys. Markets should not and do not work that way without market manipulators and market makers acting within those markets. Some of you out there really like paying an extraordinary price for certain things. You take pride in it. In my opinion, that is a recipe for disaster. If you are doing that, if you are one of the people out there that take pride in paying a record price for some of these items, understand there is something called the greater fool theory. I have done videos on this in the past. I'm not going to go into it in this video. You can look up what the greater fool theory is, but I should caution you, you're probably going to come across articles that talk about an extreme amount of money being paid for tulip bulbs several hundred years back in the Dutch countries. So that should give you pause when you start comparing Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, vintage video games, and telling me that these items are sustainable long term. Even if this Pokemon booster box would eventually get sold for $250,000, $300,000, I'm going to tell you it is an insane risk to buy something for $198,000, hold on to it, and think you're going to be able to flip it for a profit, even though you just paid a record price for that item. Let me use this as a quick example, and this is how I'm going to end this video. To a lot of you out there that think this Pokemon booster box was a wise investment, consider this. If you would invest that $198,000, and let's round it off to $200,000, at just 4%, the amount of interest and dividends that you would receive on that $200,000 per year would be $8,000. That is literally equivalent to $600 to $700, possibly a little bit more. I'm doing the math quickly in my head, a month in income for the rest of your life. That's what I don't think a lot of the unsophisticated investors consider when they invest in these markets. There is an opportunity cost to buying items like this. Whether we're talking the Pokemon booster box, Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering, even vintage video games. Why do you think I'm hesitant to even go after certain coins that cost 50, 100,000, 150 grand a piece? I can afford to play in that market if I start selling some of my cheaper holdings, like coins that cost $5,000 to $10,000 a piece. If I would trade up, I can easily go after proof gold that costs $50,000 to $100,000 per coin. That's a market I can afford to play in. Well, honestly, every time I consider doing that, this is what goes on in my mind from a financial perspective. Do I really want to spend $50,000 to $100,000 on one of these items, knowing that if I would invest that money at 3, 4, 4.5%, I'm giving up literally thousands of dollars per year in investment income where I don't have to do anything to get that income, guys. All I have to do is have a brokerage account, and every quarter, every 90 days, the company that I'm invested in or the mutual fund, they deposit that money into my brokerage account. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to lift a finger. All I got to do is wake up in the morning, pull my cell phone off my charger, eat breakfast, and money is coming to me free of charge, free of clear, because I understand finance, I understand economics, and I understand opportunity cost. Those are the basic fundamentals that you must know if you want to get into the antiques and collectibles trade. This is also why you cannot put all your money in physical objects. Physical objects pay no dividend, they pay no interest payment, and they are governed by a different set of principles outside of financial assets. That's why, generally speaking, there is an inverse relationship towards items or collectibles and that of the financial markets. I hope this little discussion has served you well. If it hasn't, let me know in the comment section below. If it has, consider liking this video and subscribing to this particular channel for more insights into the antiques and collectibles trade. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.